This is the screen you see when you first navigate to the Hughes Bennett Octave site. It contains a sample script, which we will delete. Notice that you can use a hash in front of a comment in Octave. You can also use a %, just like in MATLAB. We're going to do a simple while loop in Octave. The syntax is exactly the same as you would use in MATLAB. I'm also going to use quite a few comments. So first of all, we'll display that the program has started. Then I'm going to create a variable called x and set its initial value to 2. I like to display that the initial value is 2 before starting the while loop, and I'm going to use a slightly complicated statement to do that. You don't have to worry about the syntax of this, it just provides an opportunity to put some text as well as a number all on the same line. If you want to use it, you can, but don't worry about it. Okay, a while loop starts with the keyword while in lowercase. Then it's followed by a test condition, which is a logical test condition exactly the same as when you're writing if statements. In this case, I'm going to test whether or not x is less than 5, which of course to start with, it's going to be. The while loop ends with the keyword end, and in between the while statement and the end statement, we need to put some commands for it to execute. So I'm going to display a message to say that we've entered the while loop. And then I'm going to update the value of x. I'd like to double x, so I'll put x equals x times 2. Now I'm going to display the new value of x. So we'll change this text here. And that's all I need to put in the while loop. Now the while loop executes these 3 statements in a block repeatedly as long as this test condition is still true. Once the test condition is false, it ignores all the statements within the block and it moves on to any statements that might exist after the end of the while loop. In this case, I'm just going to put a couple of display statements, one that says we've left the loop, and also I'd like to put one that shows us what the final value of x is. Okay, that should do. To run this in Octave, you go to the green Calculate button and press that. The results appear below the box. So we see that the program started and the value of x before entering the loop was 2. Program execution then hit the while statement and it tested this test condition. So it tested whether 2 was less than 5, which of course it is. So that means it's going to enter the loop and complete all of those statements within the loop. First of all, it displayed entered the loop. Secondly, it doubled the value of x from 2 to 4, and then it displayed the new value of x. Once it's done that, it hits the end statement and goes immediately back to the beginning of the loop. So every time it hits the end statement, it will go back to the beginning of the loop here. At the beginning of the loop, it once again tests the test condition. So this time x is equal to 4 and its testing is 4 less than 5, which of course it still is. So it enters the loop a second time, shown down here, entered the while loop, this is the second time it's entered, doubles the value of x from 4 to 8, and it displayed the new value of x. Once again, it hits the end statement and goes immediately back to the beginning of the loop. Once again, it tests the test condition. This time it's testing whether 8 is less than 5, which of course it isn't. Now, since the test condition has evaluated to false, it skips everything within the loop and continues with the program after the loop. So now we've completely done with the loop, so it displays left the loop, and it displays the final value of x, which is 8, because this is the value of x which caused the test condition to evaluate to false. So we only did that loop twice. Okay, let's review the while loop. Once program execution finds a while statement, it tests the logical condition. If that test is true, it enters the while loop and does the block of statements contained within. Once it hits the end that's associated with the while, it goes straight back to the while. It retests the logical condition. If that tests out as true, it once again does the block of statements, hits the end, goes back to the while. It keeps doing that until this logical condition tests false, at which stage it skips straight from this while statement beyond the end of the loop and continues with the program after that. Now this means two things. First of all, you have to have something set up before you start the while loop that you can test. And then within the while loop, you need to change that something so that the test condition will at some stage become false. Otherwise you get an infinite loop.